We've got Captain America controversy galore. He's an agent of Hydra. He's gay. What is it? I'm glad I didn't do this while we were filming. That would have been awkward. I'm Hank Romero, and this is the segment. Apparently, Captain America is kind of in some controversies both in the cinematic universe and also on the printed page in the Marvel Comics universe. The first one came about with the release of Steve Rogers' Captain America #1, where, spoiler alert, at this point everybody knows, it was revealed that Captain America has secretly this entire time been an agent of Hydra. At the end of the first issue, he kills a fellow superhero, Jack Flag. Who? Exactly. And then says the words that we never thought he would ever say. I love you, Hank. No, that's not what he says. He says, Hail Hydra. Close second. Now this reveal has garnered a lot of mainstream attention, mostly from a lot of people who don't even read comics. So they read the headline that Captain America is now an agent of Hydra and they lose their shit. Even Captain America on the big screen himself, Chris Evans, tweeted, Hydra? Say it ain't so. Now, why does this touch such a nerve with people? Well, if you think about it, Captain America has been punching Nazis in the face since even before World War II. He's kind of famous for it. So the fact that they're now associating with him as being a member of a Nazi group, which Hydra was when it was first introduced, kind of touches a lot of raw nerves with people. Now, in the world of comic books, body swapping and brainwashing is kind of a given of the genre. It's a convention. But what really got people pissed off was when Marvel doubled down on this whole Hail Hydra thing, when writer Nick Spencer told Entertainment Weekly that issue 2 will lay a lot of the cards on the table in terms of what the new status quo is. The only thing we can say unequivocally is this is not a clone, not an imposter, not mind control, not someone else acting through Steve. This is Steve Rogers, Captain America himself. Now, the response to that has been so vitriolic that writer Nick Spencer has even received death threats. Once again, we're dealing with fictional characters here, and I truly believe that in the long run this is all going to make sense, because right now, at least on the surface, it doesn't. The idea of Captain America being an agent of Hydra this whole time makes actually zero sense. From a creative level and from a marketing level, it even makes less sense considering the success of Captain America Civil War and the fact that Disney owns it. They're not going to be like, yeah, go ahead, Marvel, make him into a Nazi. I feel that there's more at play here, and I think Marvel's playing with people's emotions, and I think Nick Spencer, the writer who said those statements, is also playing with people's emotions. If you recall, the creators of the TV show Lost said at the beginning, their show was based in science, they knew how it was going to end, and they weren't dead. Those all proved to be false.
Spoiler alert!
It's been 6 years. And in Nick Spencer's awesome interview with the Word Balloon podcast, linked below, he talks more about the whole reveal and talks about how there are plans that have been set in motion for at least a year and a half now. It's important to let people play this out and see where it ends up, and that the second issue is going to have a lot more information. Not only that, but this is going to play a major factor into the current Civil War II storyline that's going on in the Marvel Universe. Now, if I had to guess where all this was playing out, my guess would it involves the Cosmic Cube, which is a part of the current storyline in the comics. Also, if you've never read the comics and you've only seen the movies, Captain America and the Red Skull were fighting over it in Captain America, the First Avenger. If this turns out to be true, that means that Hydra used it to alter time and change the perception of Steve Rogers. So in a sense, they're changing him against his will, much in the same way that the Russians changed Bucky into the Winter Soldier against his will. I have enough faith in Marvel that when it comes to the creative direction of their characters, they know what they're doing, especially considering that Steve Rogers' Captain America was a star of the awesome, amazing, critically successful, and financially successful Captain America Civil War. And it's the big screen where this next controversy has arisen. Why am I doing this? Well, I want to prove that I know what this means, unlike Joey did on Friends.
Ah, spoiler alert!
Dude, it's been 12 years. Maybe I don't know what that means. In an LA Times article, the fact that a vocal part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's fan base wants Marvel to give Captain America a boyfriend, which the hashtag Give Captain America a boyfriend. Such as these tweets, give Captain America a boyfriend named Bucky because they've always had each other's back. I see what you did there. Or give Captain America a boyfriend because queer kids should have mirrors in their heroes. Steve loves Bucky, and it's time for Marvel to own it. Now, first off, I truly understand the need to see yourself, your family, your friends in your heroes. For instance, when I was a little kid and I saw La Bamba for the first time, I saw it like 3 times in the theater back to back. It was the first time I saw a human and honest depiction of a Mexican-American family. And you could probably say to yourself, you don't look Mexican. Well, neither did my German mother. This reminds me of an issue of Peter Parker's Spider-Man from 1999. The story was a self-contained issue when a black child was saved by Spider-Man, and at the end Spider-Man takes off his mask to reveal himself to be a black man. This was way before Miles Morales was introduced to Spider-Man. And this issue worked because it was about metaphor. It was the idea that children, at least, can see themselves in their heroes, whether it be their Santa Clauses, their deities, or their Spider-Man. It also works with the fact that in the Marvel Universe, Spider-Man has a mask. No one knows that he's Peter Parker or that he's white, so it actually lends to that. It's kind of like the Schrodinger's cat theory, but for race.
Dude, spoilers!
Dude, the cat's dead. It's been like in a box for God knows how long. And there have been some changes of race when it comes to characters from their adaptation from comics to the big screen, such as the Kingpin, the Human Torch Johnny Storm, Hydra, I'm probably saying it horribly wrong, I apologize, and most successfully Nick Fury. Now, of course, there were certain people who got in a fluster about this because they just don't like that concept, but, you know, they're assholes. Now, as far as finding gay undertones in superhero comic books, it's nothing new. I mean, Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher didn't help with that, of course, in the films. That's always been there, and I think it's awesome if people find that. It's empowering. In a sense, it's an element of fan fiction. Unless we're talking about Wincest, which is based off Supernatural, where it's dealing with the Winchester brothers, that's their last names, and incest, yes, it's bro on bro. It's kind of gross. Now, the comic industry has introduced some badass gay characters. There's Apollo and the Midnighter, who are a couple based on the archetype of Superman and Batman. You have Batwoman, a strong lesbian character who was the first to have her own comic book based just all around her. And then you have the fact that John Constantine is bisexual. Hello, Keanu Reeves. Should there be more gay characters in comic books? Absolutely. But the question arises, should a company alter the history and the long-standing recorded internal dialogue of a character just to satisfy and make the character relevant to a segment of the population? A perfect example of this is an event that actually did happen recently in the Marvel comic book universe when it was revealed that Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, in the X-Men universe was revealed to be gay. This storyline, written by my favorite writer, Brian Michael Bendis, involved time travel. It involved the young X-Men meeting their older versions of the X-Men. It was a little confusing. Overall, it was a really good story, but this one story point was just a little forced. It just happens to contradict decades of narrative. Now the question is, why did Marvel do this for Iceman? I think the fact of the matter is, and I'm not trying to offend any giant Iceman fans out there, but Iceman is not nearly as valuable a character to Marvel as Captain America is. Now, why would I say something like that? Well, if you look at the comments left by a lot of people in that LA Times article, you'll see a lot of trolling, a lot of homophobic slurs left there. The thing is that we as a society are not progressive enough to accept an A-list gay superhero yet. But on another level, I think there's an interesting issue with the fact that people will automatically assume that these two characters who are lifelong friends have this strong bond with each other and that it must be something sexual nature. It kind of plays with the idea that two dudes having emotional connection to each other is unnatural or weird, or has to be gay. Not to say that being gay is weird, but the idea that to be giving and to be open to things and to be emotional about another person must make you less than a man in society, to make you less masculine, to make you an outsider, to make you an other. And I think that's also an unhealthy way to look at things. It's a slippery slope at that point, and it's a complex issue. It's kind of like a snake eating its own tail. And I do mean that in a sexual way. Now I want to know what you think out there about the Captain America identity crisis. Is he gay? Is he an agent of Hydra? Is he a tall black man who likes jazz music? Leave a comment in the comment section down below and I'll read it in an upcoming episode. You can follow this segment on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe. We're a very tiny show and we want to be a bigger show, but you have to feed the subscribe button for that to happen. So push it many times. Keep pushing it. Push the button. Feels good. What's going on here? If there's anything you'd like to see us cover specifically, leave that in the comment section below. I'm Hank Romero. This is the segment. Until next time.